Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your man, the Grass Ninja. You guys remember when Urashiki stole MItsuki Sage Mode Chakra, and then he noted that he's never seen anything quite like it before, and that level of power, or that type of power, could prove to be very dangerous? And then at the surface level, we just thought that he was talking about Senjutsu Chakra. Yeah, what if that's not what he was talking about? You know what I'm saying? So in this video, we're gonna be talking about the possibility of Mitsuki creating Baryon energy in his Sage Mode transformation. Alright, so real quick, what's the deal with Mitsuki's Sage Mode? Why does it seem that he gets a substantial power boost from his Sage Mode from base to power up compared to other Sage Mode users when they go from base to Sage Mode? You know what I'm saying? And then why does his Sage Mode grant him a Chakra Cloak? What's the deal there? And then finally, how come his Sage Mode seems to deteriorate his body from the inside out? You know? So, when we're talking about Mitsuki, there's definitely hella questions and mysteries surrounding the character, but for the focus of this video, we're going to be focusing in on his Sage Mode specifically, alright? Now, unlike every other Mitsuki video that you'll see on YouTube, this theory video will not contain any connections to Toneri Otsutsuki. Actually, we're going completely left with it, and we're going to try to connect Mitsuki's Sage Mode to Naruto's Baryon Mode. More specifically, the true explanation of the Baryon reaction. Okay, so if you haven't already, you should go check out my video, What Was the Baryon Chakra Really? Because we go in depth in analyzing what actually happened with Naruto during this transformation, how come Kurama was the only one to die, and what's that whole deal with it being like a nuclear fusion similar to the sun. So if you're interested, definitely check out that video, come back to this video, and then see if everything paints a fuller picture for you. Now, with this theory, alright, we're going to have to explain Sage Mode, and then we can go into a brief summary of what Baryon Chakra truly is, and then we can connect the dots with it and Mitsuki's technique, alright? So, ordinary Sage Mode users will draw in nature energy, also known as Senjutsu Chakra, into their base chakra by pulling the natural energy from within the environment, okay? So, this will grant a Sage Mode user, incredible buffs to all of their stats, meaning they get stronger ninjutsu, they get stronger genjutsu, taijutsu, their sensory capabilities are increased, and their regenerative abilities also get a buff, alright? So, on top of all that, they also get alterations to their appearances, so that means, Sage Mode users will typically have a transformation in the shape of, with a change of their eyes, or a spread of markings across their face and their eyes, right? Now, in order to use Sage Mode, there are a couple of prerequisites, alright? So in order to infuse Senjutsu Chakra with your own chakra, it requires, for one, you need to have incredible chakra control, alright? And for two, you need to have massive chakra reserves. This means you need to already have a huge chakra supply of your own. And then finally, typically, you need to be sitting still. So if you want to absorb nature energy, you have to freeze in place. You can't move a single muscle, so that way you can be in tune with nature and absorb the natural energy into yourself. Now, when we talk about Mitsuki, he actually bypasses this final prerequisite of moving. So he's actually able to passively absorb natural energy from the environment at all times. This is an ability that was given to him by Orochimaru from Jugo, alright? Jugo and his clan have a Kekkei Genkai that allow them to just constantly be absorbing natural energy, right? Now, Mitsuki has this ability, but unlike Jugo, who goes on rampages when he's taken in too much natural energy, Mitsuki has complete control over the Senjutsu Chakra within him. So this means he has a massive chakra reserve, incredible chakra control, and then he can pull in nature energy at any point in time, all the time, okay? So, why does Mitsuki's Sage Mode seem to be so powerful when it comes to the standard buff we expect to see with Sage Mode? He goes from an academy level student to literally making Orochimaru quiver and shake in his pants. A fighter, by the way, who's exceedingly strong. This is a post-war arc Orochimaru with years of training and years to get used to his new body, which was literally stolen from a white Zetsu, meaning he's comprised of primarily Hashirama cells at this point. Now, Mitsuki being incredibly powerful and having Jugo's ability could explain like why he seems a little bit has the edge on other Sage Mode users. But what if I told you that the reason he's actually as strong as he is in Sage Mode is because he's not using ordinary Senjutsu chakra. He's actually creating a new type of energy. Now this is where we get into the Baryon chakra theory that I made last week. In that video, we basically concluded that it does not require a Jinchuriki to have the Baryon mode, right? Like the theory right now is that if you're a Jinchuriki, then you can enter Baryon mode because Naruto was a Jinchuriki and his tailed beast and him collided their chakras, fusing it, making this new source of energy. But we actually formulated a thesis where you should be able to create Baryon energy with just one supply of chakra. Now here's the thing. In Baryon mode Naruto's case, we were told it took Naruto's chakra plus Kurama's chakra fusing together to create the Baryon energy. But in my video, I supplied many forms of evidence suggesting that Naruto didn't even have enough chakra of his own to be able to sustain a prolonged fusion like this with Kurama. And then on top of that, we even found evidence supporting the idea that if you were to compress your own chakra far enough, or if you were to compress massive quantities of chakra far enough, then you would be able to perceive a powerful result beyond anything anyone has seen. All right, now the compression of chakra yields incredible results. Like if you compress a bunch of chakra into your fist, you can create a very powerful punch. And in Boruto's case, if you compress the Rasengan down to a small enough point, you create a completely new jutsu in the high compression Rasengan, a jutsu that was incredibly powerful, impressing the likes of Sasuke, Urashiki, everybody, Kakashi, right? So if you compress high quantities of chakra down to a finite point, you could expect even greater results, possibly something like Baryon mode, alright? Now, in that instance, we have also got evidence supporting Kurama's claims that Naruto's life was never an expense from Baryon mode, which would imply Naruto's chakra was never involved in the initial Baryon transformation. What if Kurama was taking his massive supply of chakra and compressing it down to a point where his chakra ignited in a fusion reaction, which is where he got the analogy from the sun, right? The sun literally takes its raw materials, gravitationally gets compressed down so that a fusion reaction ignites in the core. And then once all that material is used up, boom, star dies, supernova. Just like how Kurama burnt up and died at the end of the Baryon reaction. So where am I getting at here? If Mitsuki, a Sage Mode user, meaning he has a massive supply of chakra and incredible chakra control, what if he's passively or unknowingly, unconsciously fusing his Senjutsu chakra and igniting it in a Baryon-like reaction? Now this wouldn't be the first time we've seen ninjas of the Boruto generation do incredible things without their knowledge, unconsciously. Like Boruto's first attempt at a Rasengan became the Vanishing Rasengan, literally something Minato and Kakashi were unable to do, right? He was able to unconsciously add lightning change and chakra nature to the Rasengan, something that was previously thought to be impossible. What if Mitsuki, Boruto's moon, right, the other half, is also able to do something unconsciously, like supplying hell of Senjutsu chakra into a single point and then compressing it, igniting it in a fusion-like reaction, which would also explain the Chakra Cloak, alright? He's already extremely powerful, and he's always pulling in Senjutsu chakra, so he kind of has an infinite supply of chakra to work with. Imagine taking that endless supply of Senjutsu chakra, funneling it into a small point, boom, ignites, and we have this Chakra Cloak coating his body. Right? And then when he takes it a step further and he enters his full-on Sage Mode, where he gets the horn and everything, this form literally deteriorates his body from the inside out. Just like how the corrosive and toxic nature of the Baryon mode that took out Kurama, right? Because when we look at Sage Mode, it's supposed to increase all of your stats, including giving you a natural regenerative buff. Like, before Sage Mode, the Rasen Shuriken was a forbidden jutsu, something Naruto was not able to use because it would destroy his body on a cellular level. Boom, he gets Sage Mode, and suddenly his Uzumaki regenerative amps, his Nine-Tails Jinchuriki regenerative amps, and his Sage Mode regenerative amps all work together to the point where that is null and void. That doesn't happen anymore. Mitsuki is also a highly regenerative ninja, where we've seen him regen from battle scars and battle wounds instantly mid-combat in his base, but for some reason his Sage Mode does not increase those capabilities in his nature, right? So there's something toxic about his Senjutsu chakra that's killing him. Now what if it is because he's not just using any ordinary Senjutsu chakra, but he's using a Baryon-like Senjutsu energy, right? He's turning his Senjutsu chakra into Baryon energy, which gives him a cloak, which would explain the toxicity, which is why Sage Mode kills him. And then one final thing that can point in the direction that Mitsuki's not just using any ordinary type of Senjutsu chakra would be Urashiki's analysis of Mitsuki's Sage Mode, right? Now, Urashiki is an Otsutsuki. He's from the Otsutsuki clan, which means he's familiar with using the Ten Tails. Now, if we review the Ten Tails real quick, the Ten Tails is an embodiment of pure natural energy. Like when Sage Mode Naruto tried to measure his power, he found it to be immeasurable, right? And then when the Ten Tails when the Ten Tails was sealed inside of Obito, we found out that the Ten Tails Jinchuriki could only be harmed by Senjutsu, because only natural energy can combat natural energy. So the Ten Tails itself is comprised solely of natural energy or Senjutsu chakra. Even the Ten Tails itself feeds on the natural energy of the planet, creating the chakra fruit, something we know the Otsutsukis are all about. So when Urashiki says that he has never seen anything quite like Mitsuki's chakra, even though he knows about natural energy and the Senjutsu chakra thanks to the Ten Tails and the Divine Tree, maybe his Senjutsu chakra isn't just ordinary natural energy. Maybe Mitsuki's unconsciously tapping into a Baryon-like transformation when he enters Sage Mode, and this is why Urashiki said that this kind of power is troublesome and he wouldn't allow him to use it. Why else would he stop a Genin level fighter or Sage Mode Mitsuki from entering the fray with Momoshiki, right? Because we saw how powerful Baryon Mode was when it came to Ishiki. Literally Kurama, Ishiki, and Sasuke all confirmed that this dude at his peak was more powerful than Ishiki. So if Mitsuki is using a Baryon type Sage Mode, it would explain everything, why he's so powerful, why he has a cloak, and why his Sage Mode doesn't buff his already existing regenerative abilities. It's because it's not just any ordinary Sage Mode. Mitsuki has a Baryon Sage Mode technique, and he doesn't even know it. But that's just a theory. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Do you think there's more connections that we can find that we can connect to Mitsuki's Sage Mode and the Baryon Chakra system? And also, dude, if you haven't already and you watched this anyway, go back. Watch the What Was Baryon Chakra Really. We go in depth, we break everything down, we show tons of evidence supporting the line of thinking here. And then let me know if you think this idea has any legs, okay? I want to know if you guys think I'm crazy or if you think this sounds interesting. Obviously, this is just a theory, and I don't know if this will actually take place, but it would make sense if we get post-time skip. Mitsuki's saying that he needs to become Otsutsuki tier, he needs to be able to take down Otsutsukis in the future. What if he realizes he's got an ability that the Hokage used in order to take down an Otsutsuki? That's just a thought, but anyway, I'm your man, Grass Ninja, signing off. Peace.